Please welcome the Pelbros podcast.
Yo, what is up, everybody? What's up, ladies, gentlemen, and all in-betweens, right? And, whatever you want it to be, like, don't sue me far out. I'm trying to be inclusive here. Welcome to another episode of the Pelbros podcast with myself, as always, your number one host, Ryan DW, and your number one other host.
Yo, co-host here, James.
Yeah, we're representing. We are here actually face-to-face again. This is episode number 16. And I guess we're kind of celebrating, kind of not celebrating, but it's a bit of a celebration because we're meeting up. We're pumping some beers. We're drinking some Carl and Draft, in case you guys wanted to know.
Yeah, don't give them free advertising.
Yeah, true. I mean, last time it was VB, right? Carl and Draft, and I think last time it was 2 is new. And then, but before all this, there's actually something that's kind of like a Sydney kind of exclusive thing that we've just eaten, right? And I'm still trying to digest that right now. That's why I feel so like lazy right now. It's called El Jana. If you guys, I doubt any of these guys would know what it is, but it's just like charcoal chicken and then.
Yeah, any Sydneysiders will know what we're repping right here.
Yeah, we're representing here. You can't make that shit up. But the main thing is the garlic sauce. It's a different kind of level, man. And we met up, we had some of that, we had some beers. Yo, I'm full as shit. And we're here recording this new episode, Pelbros episode number 16 as usual. And I guess I'll hand it to James to get over some housekeeping, if that's okay.
Yeah, quick housekeeping. You've heard this before. Follow us on Instagram at Pelbros. Check us out on YouTube, Pelbros Podcast. We just dropped a Lonzo Ball highlight video.
Yeah,
so definitely check that out. Pelbros.com for everything else. Yeah, pelbrospodcast@gmail.com. Hit us up with any inquiries or any feedback.
Anything else that you need to hit us up with, just, find us up on Pelbros. Type in Pelbros on anything, you find us. We'd love to hear your feedback. We'd love to hear from you. So hit us up. But, yeah, let's stop dicking around here. Let's get to the main point. Obviously, if you guys are not aware, our predictions were completely fucking wrong. And we are, like, our season's completely over. Like, it's actually completely over now. So you can obviously tell there's a huge difference from last week where we were all like cheerful, hopeful, optimistic. We were like, yeah, bro, easy. What were we saying? Like 8-2, sorry, 6-2 or 7-1 even, maybe even 8-0 for those seeding games, and we ended up going, what was it?
2-6. So
complete opposite.
Yeah, I mean NBA regular season's pretty much over.
Yeah.
And the whole NBA season's over for the Pelicans.
Yeah.
And that's because all the bubble games have finished. And like Ryan said, I think before this, we were pretty optimistic about how we're going to go in the bubble. I think overall we're saying 6-2, 7-1.
Yeah. Like we're pretty much saying it was going to be easy money to get into at least the 9th seed. If anything, it was going to be 8th seed. But then after the first game, we lost to Utah and then got completely destroyed by Clippers. We were like, oh no, we could still make the 9th seed. And
yeah, there's still a chance. I mean, we dropped 2 of the games that we thought that we had a chance of losing. So at that point, we beat Memphis, and then I think we recorded, and we said that we'll maybe 4-1, 5-0 for the rest of the games. They all look like pretty easy games. We did have the easiest schedule, but yeah, I mean, I think we'll be the first to admit that we were wrong.
Yeah,
so we'll apologize to our fans
apologies, guys, for getting your hopes up.
We hyped up. We set expectations. I think we set the bar probably a bit too high for ourselves, expecting to make the playoffs. But yeah, in the end, maybe how about I just quickly talk about the results in line.
Yeah.
So we beat Memphis on that 3rd game, and then we ended up losing to the Kings.
Sacramento Kings. Yeah.
That seemed like quite a winnable game. I think we were expecting to win that game. They dropped 140 points on us.
Oh yeah, and it was I think 49 points in the first quarter, right?
Yep. Took a dub against Wizards, which was expected, although that win was a lot harder than it should have been.
Going off of that, actually, if you guys, for the true fans out there, we actually did pump out some like a bonus content, right? Episode 15.5 kind of. If you guys look around on YouTube or whatever you're listening on, you'll see it. We actually watched that game live. We recorded some live commentary. I think it was pretty good. It wasn't too bad, that bonus content, but
semi-live, unfortunately.
Yeah, semi-live because it was recorded live, but I guess then it was edited and then put up at a later date. But it's still quite entertaining if you guys, want to. If you guys are real Pelicans fans, you listen to it. Pelbros fans, you listen to it. But that's not the point, because the point is that actually ended up being the very, very last win of the Pelican season. I'll let James continue.
Yeah, last win. I mean, it was a tough win, and then the next game we lost to the Spurs, which that was a must win at that time.
Yeah, we were saying must win.
That was, I mean, we were calling every game.
Pretty much, yeah.
If you go back and listen to the
Far out.
episodes, I think you can quote me saying every game was a must win. I think I just straight up overused that term.
Yeah.
But at that point, at that stage, after we had dropped the game to the Kings, that game against the Spurs was a must win.
Yeah,
I got to
absolute.
emphasize a must win. And then after that Spurs game, unfortunately, because of that loss, we were basically eliminated.
Yeah.
The Suns kept their winning streak up. Devin Booker stayed hot.
Yeah, that's something we did not expect. They ended up being completely undefeated throughout the entire bubble.
Yep. Portland kept winning.
Yeah.
Memphis were dropping games, but by then it was too late. So going into that game against the Kings, our second matchup in the bubble, we were already eliminated.
Yeah.
So by then it was garbage time.
Yeah,
So
I didn't even think Zion, Drew, and Bi were playing.
Yeah, so only Lonzo started
Yeah.
out of the starters. So that was another L by 6 points. And then the last game, which just happened earlier today. Oh, sorry. Yeah, today. Earlier this morning. Was it yesterday? Man, I'm getting my dates mixed up. Yesterday. Yeah, we lost to the Orlando Magic to cap off our season. So 3-game losing streak, 2-6 in the bubble, not what we expected.
Complete flip side of what we were expecting, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think we already said that we were wrong about our predictions. Any other thoughts to wrap up the bubble experience?
I was gonna say about the bubble, like, I mean, there's a few kind of things we go over, but first thing I wanted to, talking about a bit more broadly, because I did want to bring this up, because I forgot to mention it when the bubble was actually coming back into action, right? But I'm sure you would have seen it when, like, the schedule was released and shit, how there's all these people going around on, like, comments on YouTube, where the fuck else you go on, right? People are like, oh, Adam Silver just trying to, it's rigged. They're trying to get Zion.
Yep.
They just want the ratings. They want Lakers versus Pelicans. You know what I mean? They want all the ratings. They want the money. It's all corrupt. It's all da-da-da. It's like, okay, well, first off, like, you're not woke, bro. You know what I mean? Like, dude, like, you know what I mean? Like, but a lot of these people are like, oh yeah, I full know this shit. Like, bro, yeah, I full see what's coming on. It's like, no way, because yeah, I mean, because a lot of people, they didn't realize. I shouldn't even have to defend this, right? But the fact is, obviously, we had the toughest schedule up to that point, and then so the rest of our games in the normal season was supposed to be the easiest. So the schedule, was incongruency to that, right? So that's what a lot of people don't realize with that. It's not nothing to do with ratings or whatever the hell. But here's the thing, right? At the end of the day, even with this, hey, come on, from Adam Silver, hey, Zion, come on, bro. Make us some money. Make some New Orleans some money too. Come on, guys. Like, let's get into the playoffs. Even with that, what do? We pretty much spat in the face of Adam Silver.
Yeah.
Freaking.
We just choked it.
Yeah, choked.
Any chance that he gave us, we just said, "Nah, I'm good."
Shat ourselves in our nappies and started crying. You know what I mean? Like, it was just a complete disaster. It's just like, even with that opportunity, we completely, there's no better way to say it, but we completely fucked it up, really. We had the easiest kind of way to get into the playoffs versus these other guys like Phoenix Suns, who ended up, like, Phoenix Suns had a quite hard way to get into the playoffs. And then, which is Portland, right, Trailblazers, they also had a quite hard, difficult mission to get into the play-in tournaments, at least, right? Both those guys, they ended up, pulling through, right? And then we, with the easy kind of, spoon-fed schedule, we completely fucked it up. So what I want to say with that is, like, at the end of the day, although we are apologizing, that, okay, we did screw up with our predictions, at the end of the day, you have to understand, like, if this is your first season being a Pelicans fan, you understand that this is what being a Pelicans fan is. It's disappointment after disappointment. It's just always disappointment. So, you can't blame us and shit for hyping it up and everything like that. I mean, like, because me and him, we're not like complete biased dickheads and shit. We actually thought we had a pretty decent chance. Like, we did have a pretty decent chance. We, like, statistically wise, all this kind of shit like that, we probably did have the best chance. But yeah, that's the thing. We just forgot that these guys, I don't know, they just had no urgency, I guess, to play these games, really, and lost a lot of winnable games, and that pretty much ended our season.
Yeah, pretty much echoing what you said. I don't think we were wrong in our expectations, I guess.
Yeah.
So I mean, many people can argue that it was our first year with this team. I think we brought in 7 new players just from this season, right? It's going to take time to build chemistry.
Yeah.
But we still thought that we could make the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
You've got the Golden State Wizards who were out injured.
Golden State Warriors, man.
Sorry, Golden State Warriors.
What's going on here?
The Spurs weren't looking like, their typical Spurs.
Yeah.
So there were teams that, and Portland were injured all season as well. So it's not like it was impossible. It wasn't like from the start, it wasn't like a impossible mission, but in the end it was. Like, reality is that it was.
But that's the thing, like, we didn't lose, like, it's okay, like, we didn't get beaten. It's more so we lost it. You know what I mean? Like if that makes sense, right? Like, we shot ourselves in the foot rather than it was taken away from us, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that sums
because
it up.
turnovers pretty much cost us the season, you could argue.
I think the themes, coming like a recap or our review of this bubble experience has obviously been the things that you just mentioned, right? No urgency in our play, a lot of turnovers, a lot of silly mistakes, guys just looking checked out. So there's
what a defense out, what a hustle.
Yeah, there was no defense. I mean, we struggled with team defense throughout the whole season. We were letting up a lot of points, but just in terms of effort and in terms of there was just no urgency in our play whatsoever. Guys looked checked out. I thought Dfavs looked like he sort of didn't want to be there.
We're gonna get back into Dfavs later on, but
he was struggling to catch the ball, and he didn't look like himself. Lonzo Bubble Lonzo is like another story. There's been a ton of hate for him over this past week.
We'll get into that too later,
just because of everything that's happening. But two wins, 6 losses in the bubble. End of the season. I mean, we're optimistic. We got things to look forward in the off season, but I guess that recaps the Pelicans.
I was gonna say, like, just a couple of last kind of things I want to, like, add some garnish on top of the, because this is like a bit of like a eulogy to the Pelican season this year, right? Basically, and it was like that huge postponed break too, right? Where we're full like, oh yeah, there's hope. No, there was never hope, my friend. There was never hope. Anyways, though, what I want to say too, right? I want to remind people too, right, is that it is almost a victory. It is a big kind of dub that we did come this close to actually get into the playoffs. Let's keep in mind that, we didn't have a healthy roster pretty much the entire season, right? Like, Zion only played 19 or so games before, the season even came to a halt, right? So, the majority of the season, we were completely injured. We were playing like complete shit. We had that franchise record loss of 13 losses in a row. There's that. So many I think I brought a stat up last week, how it was 5-23 in the clutch, like 5 wins we will get, and then 23 losses in the clutch. When it comes to crunch time, we just don't know what we're doing, and obviously this may come down to someone like Gentry not running proper plays or whatnot, but that's for later too. There's all these kind of things. So, like, despite us completely, because the thing is, right, if you had watched us play in the summer league, in the warm-up games and everything like that preseason, we're looking like, oh shit, like, like, this is, you're the one to mess, you know what I mean? Like, we're on a different level. Champions. You're sleeping, pretty much, for games that don't matter. Like I said before, we're always dropping shit, but still, with that, because we had Zion there, right? But in that Spurs game, in that preseason thing, Zion obviously, I know, clicked his knee or something like that with someone else, so they sat Zion for pretty much the majority of the season. So the thing is, though, through that we had the chance to see BI blossom, all this other kind of shit. Drew inconsistent, wavy, but the main thing is that we had all these huge obstacles. Like, we shouldn't even have been in the playoff question. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, we had already kind of like completely done all the wrong things, right? Yet somehow, in the third quarter or so, maybe even the second half of the season, we started to pick it back up, started to get some kind of chemistry going, started to freaking win some games, right? And so with that, we were actually getting into the quote-unquote playoff question. So the fact that we even got to the playoff question is, a quote-unquote victory in itself, right? We could say that, right? We can't be so, like, depressed or harsh about it, because the reality is we don't even belong here, right? We should be... Who didn't rock up? Was it just Golden State Warriors in the Western Conference that didn't come to the bubble?
Minnesota.
We should be like Minnesota, pretty much.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess everything you're saying is right, but in the end, because of our record going 2 wins only, 6 losses, we did end up third last. So we pretty much are with... honestly, we are pretty much with Minnesota and Golden State Warriors. But yeah, no, exactly what you said. I think, if the season continued and didn't stop because of COVID,
Yeah.
we would have actually probably been in a lot better position.
I was
We
actually
would
going
have
to
had
say that exact
18
same
games instead of just 8 games.
Yeah.
And by then, we were kind of building a bit of chemistry. There were a few games here and there we dropped that we really shouldn't have. I know there was a game that we lost against Minnesota just for like no reason, right?
Yeah.
It was just like an easy
I do remember
dub.
that.
I think Cat was out that game. I don't even think D'Lo was in that game.
Yeah.
And we just lost it. Like, those
Yeah.
are the kind of games that we dropped this season. They're probably part of the 5 of 23, to be honest. But yeah, there were a lot of obstacles, a lot of hurdles. And like I mentioned, you know, this is a new team that they all brought together. So I think, I mean, like a full season review, you know, there are some pros and cons to take out of it. We saw BI become an all-star, and he'll be our all-star for the next few seasons.
Let's hope.
So he fills in that gap that I guess Anthony Davis kind of left.
Yeah.
We've seen how good Zion can be. I didn't think that he'd be, you know, a 20-8 player
Straight from the get-go.
on 60% field goal efficiency straight from the get-go. You know, our guys have gone, our bench guys have gone a bit of extra minutes, so that's fortunate. But yeah, I mean, there's some good things, there's some bad things. I think expectation-wise, we were expected to make the playoffs, at least going into the season.
Yeah.
So like you said earlier, I don't think that we're wrong for hyping up our chances. And then the other thing I was going to say was, you know, I think there were some things that didn't meet expectations. So I'd say probably, you know, Drew being an MVP level player.
Yeah, if we're talking about the whole season in general,
D. Griff try to hype us up to be.
Yeah.
And then I think the second thing that I'll quickly point out is, I think when we went into the season and how we drafted, I think a lot of us fans and a lot of people around the league thought that we had a lot of depth.
Yeah. Especially when it comes to guards, it's cool.
But I think in the end, I think it proved that we didn't have that much depth because, you know, the guys that we did draft, he's just not developed enough. You know, Melly was a rookie. Jax is still so raw as well.
Yeah.
So overall, I think our roster depth in the end hurted us, right? We didn't have that as many guys to play. So, yeah, you know, there were some expectations that didn't get, you know, met from the season. But, I mean, overall, I'd probably, if I had to give this season a rating on like an A, B, C, D, oh man, that's a tough question. I'd probably give it like a C plus, maybe a B minus.
I was going to say the same thing. I was going to say C plus or B minus. I want to say
C plus.
The thing is that, like, if we think about it, this is definitely a better season than last season, though. Like, last season, I didn't even, like, I was barely even checked in. Yeah, I was pretty much out. But this season was much more exciting and stuff like that. Talking about, you did mention, I wanted to expand on that too. I feel as if that was a big thing. Looking for excuses now and shit like that. But the postponement really did, you know, screw us over because of the fact that just before the break, right, someone like Lonzo, right, I think, was it the last 5 or 6, 7 games, so before that, he's averaging like 20, you know, 20 and 5, 27, something like that. You know, he's going crazy, right? 20, like he's actually scoring, you know, like Lonzo's actually contributing decent minutes for the team. Something like that. But on top of that too, like everyone was hot, and like you said too, everyone was just building that proper chemistry, and we were probably going into, you know, we could have easily gone into the playoffs, given the fact if we had was it supposed to be 18 games remaining?
Yeah, it only would have been 18, so quite a bit of the season had actually gone past.
By that point, because it was already after All-Star break too. Because I was going to say too that the main thing about the 8 games, although we had the easiest schedule, right, was the fact that we had like okay, now you can't really say we had the, like, I was going to say though, just in comparison to 8 games to 18 games, 8 games you have so much little like a margin of error, right, as opposed to the 18 games. 18 games, yeah, you can drop a few that you should have won or something like that. You still got how many more games to win, right? As opposed to the 8 games, you lose, you're fucked. And that's pretty much how it went down. I think if we had potentially been able to win that Utah game, this could be a completely different story right now. You know, the locker room would have been completely hyped and all this kind of shit. But at the same time too, it's kind of like what you said too. I really don't think we deserve to be in the playoffs this season. So I think it's the best that we didn't get into the playoffs, and how someone like what's it called, Portland Trailblazers, like, see, as much as we've been shitting on Dame ever since our existence of the Pelbros, right? Even before that too, right? Even before we started recording for you amateurs, right? We've been talking shit. We've been shit on Dame, at the Pelbros, right? But what I'm trying to say though with that is, as much as we shit on him, we have to give so much respect, because look at how crazy this guy is, like, willing his team to get into the playoffs, right? They had probably, I would argue, they had even a harder, you could say they had a hard schedule than Phoenix, right? Phoenix obviously had a great performance, right? But these guys were playing like some dog games, you know what I mean? Like dog eat dog kind of games, and they came out on top, right, for majority of those games. So like, what I'm trying to say with that is, I really wish that at least, you know, if I wish that would have rubbed on off, like, sorry, that energy, that kind of willpower, whatever you want to call it, right, that had rubbed off onto our Pelicans team. You know, if our Pelicans team had, obviously there's a bunch of young guys, you know, someone like Drew, JJ, they can only do so much to kind of like lead the team. But if he had some kind of like someone like a Damian Lillard, that's, you know, putting everything on the line, you know, dropping 50, 60 fucking points, right? That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I wish that we could take that from them, but at the same time, we always shit on Portland. So as much as there's what do you call it? As much as we like to shit talk, there's still love there, and that's what I'm trying to say. We still have to respect the game when it comes to that.
Yeah, but before we jump into, you know, how off season is going to look and the future for the Pelicans, just going off that, yeah, I think for Portland it actually benefited them going on the break, because during that time they were actually quite injured. So by the time the bubble started, Nurkic came back.
Yeah, and this guy's playing like he hasn't skipped a beat.
Yeah, he hasn't. He's dropping 30 points, grabbing 10 rebounds. He's being quite an anchor for them defensively as well.
Yeah, one of the best big men in the league straight away again.
But yeah, and then with the bubble starting, then Memphis got injured, and Triple J, Jaren Jackson Jr. ended up getting injured. I mean, all that stuff potentially may have not happened if the game continued during that time. So, you know, in the end, you know, I think Phoenix was sliding during that time as well. So, yeah, overall, the bubble benefited teams like Portland. Phoenix, they came out 8-0, like you mentioned, undefeated. But, yeah, like you said, if only we had that kind of energy and that intensity that those teams showed. But I think, you know, I think a lot of people have speculated why we didn't. And, you know, I don't want to break it down and make it like sound so simple. But, you know, in my opinion, I think Gentry has kind of lost the locker room a bit.
Yeah.
That's why the vibe is like, you know, you're gonna play for your coach, and if you don't like him, or you're not vibing, or you're not feeling it, then you're just not gonna bring that defensive energy. You're not gonna bring that intensity.
Yeah.
You're not gonna play as hard. Excuse me. Just because you're not really liking what's happening. So yeah, unfortunately for us, we had guys potentially check out, or guys that didn't come to the bubble prepared. Zion looked a bit chunkier. There's a bit of criticism around him that he needs to lose weight. And you can throw out that stat that we mentioned earlier. But and then lastly, Dfavs didn't look like he knew what he was doing, and then Lonzo just completely, as you mentioned, you know, he was shooting I think 38% from three for the season, and in the bubble I think he shot like 16% or something. Oof. So it was brutal. It was hard to watch. And he copped a lot of flack, and rightfully so. So hopefully he comes back energized. Hopefully he returns. I don't know what the situation is. Regarding contracts, but
I was gonna say, talking about Lonzo. I think this is the first time Lonzo actually gets like a proper off season where he's not injured too. So, you know, we've seen what has happened with Bi. He didn't even have a full off season. I don't think. Did he?
No,
I think he was coming off an injury last year. But anyways, the thing is that Bi and Lonzo back in the gym throughout the off, but obviously the off season isn't that long this time around, though.
Yeah,
right?
They're predicting the next season to start around December. So that gives them about 2 months. I mean, we're starting early, right? So we're in August now because obviously we got eliminated. Yeah. So that's a good opportunity, hopefully.
Yeah, true, to like work on the game.
Yeah, Bi, Lonzo, Zion. Hopefully they just hit the gym together. Maybe Josh Hart, and just put in the work, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, anything else to wrap up the season for you?
Nah, I mean, I was just going to mention that kind of, this is kind of more talking about the bubble, and then we'll go a bit into off season, I guess. But, because we already are kind of talking about off season right now. But pretty much the main thing I want to talk about was Zion, which you linked me to, which is pretty freaking interesting. Because whenever I was watching these Pelicans games, right, because obviously all these other kind of casuals and these Laker fans, always the Laker fans being like, oh, why don't you put Zion on? Oh, what the hell? You guys are so stupid. What the hell? Why aren't you guys putting Zion on for these bubble games? Da, da, da. And the thing is that, and I tell him, bro, like, it's not like Zion's even playing that great. Like, you know, I'm in the bubble, all these turnovers, he's not even playing that great in general. But then they'll be like, oh no, but, you know, he's still ending up like dropping like 15, 20 points or whatever kind of da, da, da. And then I'm like, yeah, but that's not winning us games and shit like that. And then James actually linked me this stat, which is kind of backs up everything my mind was already thinking. Zion, in his 104 minutes of game time during the bubble, during the Orlando bubble, he was actually
5 games worth.
Yeah, so he was actually came in at a plus minus of minus 58. So that's not good. So there's a lot of freaking things to work on. Sure, it's great so easy to point fingers at, it's this one's to blame, that person's to blame, blah, blah, blah. But honestly, everyone's really to blame in this.
Yeah, it's overall team effort. But yeah, I guess that kind of wraps up the season and how we went. Obviously not how I wanted to go, but I guess the silver lining is we can just sit back and watch the playoffs without any emotional investment.
True.
But yeah, how about we just jump into the off season before? So I guess now that we're forward looking, I'll throw it over to you. What are some things from you that you want to see in this off season? So I think first one, maybe should we just go into personnel? Maybe we should talk about like front office personnel. Let's just get that out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's time. Like, as much as we've gone flip flop on this, I think it's time. Alvin, you're fired. I think that's what's got to happen, right?
Yeah, I wish we could make the decisions.
Yeah.
But yeah, completely agree. I think most fans would agree, and there still are a few like Alvin apologists or like people defending him out there. But I think majority of the fan base has turned ever since this bubble experience has failed, essentially.
Yeah.
But I think it's his time. I mean, we've given him, I think it was almost 4 or 5 seasons to kind of get this team in shape and ready for the playoffs. I think I've said this in the previous episode. I have said this in the previous episodes. But that one playoff series in 2018, plus drafting Zion, has saved his job for like 2 or 3 seasons.
True.
But he's got an under 50% win rate with the Pels. He doesn't suit a head coach in my mind. I think he's more of an assistant.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have the intensity that you want out of a coach at the moment. You know, we're a young core. He seems like a player's coach, but it doesn't seem like he kind of gets the best out of them. Yeah. Seems like he builds a good relationship, but it doesn't seem like he gets the best out of them. He doesn't run good plays. I think that one of the most frustrating things from not just myself, but other fans that we've seen online is that, when the games are going bad, he doesn't bring that kind of intensity that you want to from your coach on the side, like screaming and getting your plays in check. Rather, he'll just be like kind of chill and just be like frustrated in his head, but not really like giving it to the guys, right? And that's what I think we need, because we're just such a young team.
Just
what
like
are your thoughts?
Military officer almost.
Yeah, almost like just to really kind of rip into the guys, hold them accountable, take them off if they're not playing well, and kind of give them like straighten them out. Like, this is what you need to do. Zion, you need to get in shape, and if you're not going to, you're not going to get play. Yeah, that's how I think it should work.
I mean, honestly, the main thing I want to see, I just want to see us play some defense, and apart from that too, I just want some actual like plays coming out of a timeout. You know what I mean? That's the only things I want, because there's a few different candidates when it comes to the like potential job for the head coach position. I think Jason Kidd, there's people saying like Monty Williams. Who's it? Like, no,
there's Becky Hammond from the Spurs.
Yeah.
Kenny Atkinson.
That was the one. Kenny Atkinson. All these. But the thing is that I'm not going to even pretend to say like I have a knowledgeable, credible opinion on who we should choose. My personal opinion is I think let's just hope the head office will fucking work it out like properly. Like, honestly, at the end of the day, I think anything you choose will probably be better than
Gentry, I was going to say the same thing. No, but I think we know David Griffin knows how to
we'll know what the
create a team
is needed for us. Yeah.
So I know there's a lot of speculation happening and a lot of people putting in. I mean, I have my own thoughts on the coach. I admit I'm not fully knowledgeable about coaches, but I do have my
bias. Tell us
my own opinion. I think I'd like to see Kenny Atkinson.
Okay.
Because I think he can get the best out of a young group of guys.
Is he from the Nets?
Yeah, so he was from the Nets. I think was it last season? It was the season before D'Lo got traded.
Okay, yeah.
But basically, he got that team to the playoffs.
Turn these bums into playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. I was literally gonna say the same thing. That roster didn't look like they were playoff ready at all or gonna make it. He got to the playoffs and then they fired his ass because they weren't. After that, I mean, it looked like they probably weren't going as good as they had hoped or something. But yeah, they just straight up fired his ass. But I think he can get the most out of the guys.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm not a fan of Jason Kidd. I don't think he had a great stint at the Bucks, and it seemed like he's a bit. He's too kind of ingrained in his own way of doing things.
Okay.
So I feel like it doesn't leave for good room for improvement.
Yeah.
And then for Tyronn Lue, who's the other guy who's been
Tyronn
thrown
Lue,
out a
yeah.
lot, he's a chance because he's obviously worked with David Griffin back at the Cavs.
Yeah.
I just don't think. I think he needs a superstar. Like I think
Yeah.
he only looks good as a coach because he's had LeBron Kyrie.
Yeah.
You know, and people say, oh, but he's a good players coach. He's a good X and O's coach.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a good defensive coach. So
Yeah, true.
I think exactly what you said. We need to bring in someone who is defensive minded and can draw up plays for us.
Yeah.
And that's just not Gentry at the moment. So I'll be happy to see him go.
Yeah, the final kind of thing I was going to touch on with that too, with the coaches situation. Shit, can I remember? No. Wait.
Anyways, think about it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Coaches.
so that's our thoughts on the coaches. I mean, obviously, if you think about what you're trying to say, feel free to shout it out. But let's just get into, I guess, the team, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a bunch of off-season decisions to make.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be a quiet off-season for us. There's a few guys that are coming off free agency. Most of them are restricted, so you know they'll probably likely be back. The biggest talking point is probably Bi. I think he'll just easily get the max contract. It's like not even.
Okay. Sorry, it's back. It's back. Sorry, it's the beer and the Eljana getting me food recovery. Another dim lights.
Yeah.
The sun's gone down.
Getting sleepy.
Yeah. All right. The only kind of thing I want to import when it comes to the coach thing, right, was the situation is that because we have a completely new like roster now, right? Like just this year. So the fact that we've had 1 year of these guys, like one season of these guys, I think you can make a better judgment on who would be best suited for this, like for this like young core that we have, as opposed to we already had Gentry. Okay, let's just see how it kind of works, how these guys all work together. Now we have a little bit of like a sample size, experiment of like this season. So with that, I'm quite confident that whoever the front office ends up choosing for the head coach position, it'll be a very compatible match. Let's just say that. So,
yeah, it'll be like in the best interest. Anyway.
Yeah.
And anything's better than Gentry.
Exactly.
I think just to reiterate what we said before, I honestly think he's probably lost a bit of the locker room, and he's already lost the whole fan base. So at that point,
that was a long time ago.
at that point, why are you keeping him on, right?
Yeah.
Like, what's the point? He's coming towards the end of his contract though, so I think he's still got another year or so. So they'll be evaluating for sure. So we'll see what happens. But I trust them to make the right decisions.
But as you're saying about Bi, sorry.
Yeah. So going into off-season signings, there's going to be a bunch of decisions to make. Bi being one of them. He's a restricted free agent, which means that he doesn't really have a choice on where to go, as in we'll probably just match whatever if another team were to offer anything. But I think that's clear cut. Given the max, he's proven that he can play at an all-star level. I thought in the bubble he was a bit, I don't want to say shy, just not as aggressive and not as intense as I was expecting him to be.
Not taking over.
Yeah, kind of just expecting him to take over.
Passive, I guess.
He's the leader, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say Drew is still the star.
Yeah.
Bi is the upcoming star, and then Zion it has to fit in and just have to play consistently and be healthy. So I don't think Zion's quite the star yet, but Bi is kind of the second leader on the ground, right, on the floor. So you know, Drew's been inconsistent all season, and we saw that even in the bubble, he put up a game, 28 points, I think against the Wizards and torched them, but then he'd struggle against the Kings or the next team that he played. So Bi with the max is easy. I think the biggest talking points. I mean, Drew's another one, but I think our thoughts are clear. Keep him. Don't bother trading him. You're not going to get anyone better out of him.
At least just not for the season.
And then I think the biggest talking points we'll jump into is Derek Favors is probably the biggest one. So he'll be a free agent going into this off season or starting now, I guess. He's got a decision to make. What are your thoughts? I mean, I think we were probably Derek Favors fans or apologists even when the season was before the season got paused. We even dropped a video recently on our YouTube. Check it out. Of his top 5 games. What are your thoughts? Do you want to keep him?
I'm open. Like, okay, because the thing is that I'll this is something I thought about before, right? I'll bring this up. So basically, if we're just gonna judge Derek Favors over the games he had in the bubble, right? Then shouldn't we have that same kind of thing when it comes to someone like Lonzo? You know what I mean? Like Lonzo was even shitter than fucking Derek Favors in the bubble, right? So if we're judging based on that, shouldn't we do the same kind of thing for both of them, right? Derek Favors has been really good for us this entire season. So if we don't, apart from the bubble specific, I mean the bubble he wasn't like maybe the later games he got a bit better, but he was more or less quite shit during the bubble, right?
Yeah,
But throughout the
okay.
season, he was kind of like the piece that we did need. However, having said that, and with that, obviously, like James said, check out Pelbros on YouTube to see that video that we put up of these top 5 games. We actually go probably in depth into that. It's really good. Only like 10, 15 minutes. No, probably 10 minutes. Watch it. If you're listening right now, watch it. Anyways, Dfavs, we do have mad love for him at Pelbros, but at the same time, I am more than happy to shop around. See, because he is obviously, like I said, an unrestricted free agent too, right? And I'm pretty sure Utah has actually interest in bringing him back too.
Yeah, Utah Twitter for sure.
Yeah. Oh, at least
or like
Utah
bring
Twitter.
him back.
Yeah. But with that though, I think like why not just shop around, like see what we can get, what makes the best sense. Like Dfavs, if it makes sense to keep him, sure, but at the same time, I really do feel as if, especially when it comes to our starting 5, that's maybe the center position is maybe the kind of like the quote unquote weakest
for
link
sure,
that we could definitely upgrade on.
Yep.
But what do you think? Do you have any even potential? Like I'm always gonna say Miles Turner. If we could get Miles Turner, I just think that'd be pretty sick. But if you have any kind of suggestions, shoot.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm looking at an article back in April, I think it was, and they're clear cut bring back Favors, and I would have been the same back in April, back in May, right before the bubble started. And it's like what you said. We shouldn't judge him based on only his bubble games. It's probably not fair.
Yeah.
But it's hard not to. It's honestly hard not to.
It's so shit.
The one thing I will say is that I do think I'd be alright with bringing him back, but I do believe that because of the bubble, he's tanked his value.
Yeah.
So I do want to see him back, but on a very reasonable price. So I think before this, we would have been looking at potentially 10 to 15 mil. Even now, I reckon that's too expensive, just because based on what he's done in the past few games. A few names that around that level of financials that I'll throw out that I like. This article's got a whole bunch of them, but I'll throw out Marcus Gasol. I think he'd be great as a spacing center for us, and he'll bring a lot of veteran experience. Aaron Baines from the Suns.
He's available?
Yeah, so he should be a free agent, I think, but I mean I think he'll cost a bit more than your average Joe. So he's still got a whole bunch of miles on him. His 3-point is really good.
He's Aussie too, isn't he?
Yeah, he's Aussie.
Hey.
He's a bit of a grub. He plays a bit dirty, but
that's what
I think that's what we need right now. I feel like that's
honestly,
what we need. We need someone who's vocal and can space the floor. Other ones have been Serge Ibaka. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but I do see the fit. He can space. He can shoot the mid-range.
Championship experience.
Yeah, exactly. He plays intense, aggressively. Paul Millsap's another one, but he's getting up there in age. Yeah. So again, I completely agree with you. I think we should shop around, but at the same time, I'm happy to bring him back as long as it's the right price. I'd like to see him. If we can get him on like a steal, of like a deal, like under 10 mil, I think that would be huge.
Yeah. So the thing is that I've only heard good things about Aaron Baines too during his time with Celtics and then even the Phoenix Suns and shit like that. I know he's got a full cult following almost.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
So as in, if you want, like, just for bands even, bring him along, especially if we can afford him for Celtics. Because I'm imagining Miles Turner would cost quite a lot too, right?
Yeah, the problem with Miles Turner is I don't think the Pacers would give up anything.
We'll give him up,
be willing to. So
but even with that though, who's the last suggestion? Sorry,
Paul Millsap,
and then
Marcus Gasol, Serge Ibaka. I think for me, those are the names that I liked.
I think probably sorry. I was gonna say, going off of that, right? Isn't Jahlil Okafor supposed to be a unrestricted free agent this offseason too, right?
Yeah, so we have to make a decision on what we do with him.
Yeah, because I was gonna say with that too, because if anything, some people are arguing during our time in the bubble, why wasn't because obviously we gave Ja like garbage time minutes almost, right?
Yeah, so he played a lot of minutes in the last 2 games.
But the thing is, even throughout the season when we did put him on for like some decent games, he had some decent performances too. So, what if it's just like, should we keep him? But I guess he wouldn't be our starter, would he?
No, the problem with Ja is he comes on and he brings so much offense and looks so good, and it's like you actually enjoy watching him play. Yeah. And then you realize that he only does that against the bench or third string players. Yeah. And then on defense, it's like worse than what we currently have already.
Yeah,
so
true.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate situation. I mean, do you have any thoughts on whether you're all right with keeping him?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind keeping it. Like, it depends on like the kind of contract and stuff like that. But it's the main thing is like if he, I would like to see if he can find like a nice home for him. You know what I mean? If not with us, I don't really mind. But the thing is, though, I was gonna say like, okay, talking about Derek Favors and shit like that was, what if we had our center right under our nose the entire time with Chillll Okafor? But probably not in terms of like a starting five center. I think
if he could get his defense in check and could learn how to shoot, he would be there. The thing about just really quickly, the thing about Okafor is that he'll be cheap, so he'll be probably like maybe 2 or 3 mil. Not many teams will offer a lot for him. He's unfortunately, a lot of people like to say he's just in the wrong era of basketball.
Yeah.
If he was here 10, 20 years ago, he'd be dominating.
Yeah.
But he's just in the wrong era. So I know there won't be a lot of competition for him. Sorry, Jar. But I think that if we can nab him, he'll be cheap. He'll be a couple mil. So re-signing him wouldn't be an issue.
I guess out of because we've already kind of talked about it, but I guess the main piece out of those options that you provided, I'd probably go for Aaron Baines.
Yeah, if it's possible, my only concern at that is I think they'll be looking for real I mean, I don't want to call us a fake contender. I think they'll be looking for like actual championship contenders, not like just playoff teams. So that's the only thing. So in the end, I mean, if I'm using my brain, I feel like we'll bring back Favors, but I like to see him on a cheaper price than what
Okay. Oh, so you do think we're going to bring Favors?
I have a feeling. Yeah, I don't know if a lot of the other guys will be available for us. I mean, and whether they want to come. If I could pick, I'd probably want Marc Gasol, but I mean, I don't know. I don't really see him coming to the Pelicans.
Yeah. All right. I mean, talking about other kinds of contracts then in our team, JJ Redick. What do you think about that? Because I think we're maybe your opinions changed over the last week or so, but because we haven't even said, we should have started this podcast off with it. Pelbros would like to officially apologize to JJ Redick for fucking up.
No, we shouldn't be apologizing.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah.
We were hyping it up. We'll apologize on behalf.
On behalf of the Pelicans team
his teammates.
Unfortunate that your 13 playoff streak has come to an end, and on top of that, I think like a 22-year
back from his college days. He's just always been winning to some extent. To some level. Yeah, to a high level.
Even going to what's called the finals with the London Magic that one time. But apart from that, what I'm trying to say is that it seems that it's all come to an end for JJ when it comes to the streak, and obviously there's that classic picture when we were getting completely demolished by the Clippers. So with that though, a lot of people do think that maybe it's we've kind of screwed it up for JJ. It's like everyone's like, oh, I'm so sorry for you, JJ. Just leave, just go, elsewhere. But the thing is that JJ still has another year on the contract with us too. I mean, sure, he's not getting any younger and shit, but I think he's stuck around Philly for 2 years or so. If anything, I'd argue we're an even better team than fucking Philly as of right now, because I just don't have any love for Ben Simmons. But yeah, Embiid's alright, but Boogie was better. Anyways, apart from that, going off of that, my own opinion is I feel as if because we've just had a little kind of taste of what we could be this season, and like I said, we've just had obstacle after obstacle after obstacle, right? Yet somehow we came to this kind of this position where we were actually in the quote unquote playoff question, right? I feel as if JJ is going to give it another chance, you know what I mean? Because we still have Drew as a veteran too, JJ to kind of like using this loss or this kind of experience as a way to have even more momentum for the next season. I feel as if JJ sticking around for another year, because we already do have him in the contract for it too, doesn't make sense. Like I feel as if he will come back at least one more season, and if depending on that, then by all means go try and get a championship ring after that. What are your thoughts on JJ?
Yeah, I mean, whether I'd want to see him like play another next season, I mean he's under contract for sure. Like he makes the team better, and I don't think he's missed a beat. He looks like he's just getting better with age. Probably not at his peak like he was probably around Philly time, or maybe like towards the end of the Clippers years, but he's still up there. He can still put up 15 points easily. Yeah. I think he's the second or third in 3-point shooting percentage this season. Yeah, I don't know if that's changed because of the bubble, but I mean he makes the team better. So I'd be happy to embrace him for another season, but I would not be sad if he just goes and goes to another team because
try to get a championship.
Because we're not going to get him a championship next year at
Yeah,
least. I don't realistically think we're going to get it next year specifically. Maybe like within the next decade for sure. I think we said 2026, but by then he's going to be, I think he's 35 already or 36 already, so he's going to be out of the league by then. When we did end the streak, I just felt sorry for him. So if he does end up on another team and it's contender, then good for him. Like I'll be so happy for him. I'm definitely a fan of him. He's given us. He's been one of the players to give us a ton of effort and try to save the team at times.
Even in that last game, the game that pretty much got us eliminated.
Yeah, he put up like 20 something points. He was trying to will us to bloody.
Who was that against? Was that Spurs? Was that the game?
So there was a Kings game and then the Spurs game. Yeah, you could say that.
So I think
it would have been those
20,
2 games.
Even 30 points or something like that. He put up. Like he was the only one that was actually like caring about his playoffs.
Yeah, against the Spurs, he put up 31 points.
Yeah, 31 points. There you go. So that's the thing. It's still there, JJ. I think both of us can agree that we would want to have him there. It's just like, do we think he's going to be here? My prediction, if all my predictions come wrong, my prediction is I think he'll stick around for one more year.
So I'll be honest, I was on the fence, but because we may as well go have a different opinion.
Okay, yeah.
I think he'll go somewhere else.
That's fair enough.
Maybe potentially, I don't know how it would work, and if it was possible, but because he's still currently living in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I mean, if the Nets could somehow sign him and they come back with a healthy KD and Kyrie, I don't know if the money's available because I think we signed him for 20 mil.
Yeah.
And to quickly be frank about it, he knew what he was getting into when he signed with us, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he may have thought that he could get in the playoffs, but to really think he could contend, he chased the money because we offered him I think 23 mil that he wasn't getting from other teams. I don't think Philly wanted to give him that money, which kind of makes sense. If Brooklyn could work out the money situation, man, him on the Nets would be top tier level, next level. They'd be
scared, bro.
Straight up contenders. But any other thoughts? Otherwise, why don't we just quickly jump into the last few guys?
I was gonna say, apart from that, then the next big guy would be Lonzo. What do you think? Because there's been big rumors going around how, quote unquote, the Pelicans team was checked out during the bubble. Especially, I think Lonzo was checked out.
Yeah.
And there's rumors that there's going to be huge personnel or roster changes in the next season. But obviously, rumors are rumors. But still, a lot of people have their eyes on Lonzo, especially because of his extremely poor performance during the bubble.
Yeah, there was a lot of fans blasting him, kind of writing off a 22-year-old, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, those fans aren't. In my opinion, those fans weren't here before this season. I think they were new fans.
Yeah, these are probably just the Lonzo.
The Zion drafted number 1 pick fans.
Yeah,
and they're just giving him a whole lot of hell. We've seen how he can play. He played like a borderline all-star during those stretches, like you said. There was a stretch, I think 7 games where he scored like 20 points, hit a shit ton of threes. I think he'll be back next season
for sure.
I think David Griffin will make the smart moves.
Yeah,
he'll know to give him a chance, to give BI, to give Lonzo another crack or another more time with each other.
And with Zion.
And he knows that there's Zion. I don't see what other team immediately wants him and where he makes that team better. So, I mean, in my opinion, I don't think he'll end up at the Pelicans for a long time, in the sense of he won't retire at the Pelicans.
Yeah.
I don't think his heart's full with the Pelicans as much as he might say the right things.
Yeah.
But I can't see us doing any drastic moves to remove him or trade him or let him go. At least for next season.
Yeah, especially because we've already worked so hard as it is right now to have any kind of resemblance to team chemistry as of right now. So if we're going to be at least change the head coach, a few kind of things around there.
Yeah, you wouldn't shift the players around that much. And just really quickly, Zoe actually built the best chemistry with Zion this season.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can't. How do you write that off, right?
Yeah.
I mean, as much as the fans want to, I think Dave Griffin will make the right decisions.
Yeah, there's that, and on top of that too, there's already that already built-in chemistry with BI too, even before the Pelicans, during the Lakers seasons and stuff like that. So I think that is just people, like you said, just kind of probably what it is, just a different bunch of bandwagoners, trying to over-inflate shit. More on top of that, I guess they just can't deal with being a Pelicans fan. As soon as shit hits the fan, we need to fire this guy, change this, but
Yeah, definitely overreacting fans.
Yeah, overreaction.
If you do want to see what Lonzo has been able to do for us, check out our YouTube channel.
Has just been dropped.
Just dropped the bunch of highlights that he does. He did it all this year. You know, tons of oops to Zion, plenty of hustle plays, lots of things to work on. His 3-throw shooting, his driving at the rim. He still isn't confident, but he's definitely like a mental kind of confidence player.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully he spends a lot of work this offseason and then comes back better than ever.
Yeah. Who's next? Do we?
Let's quickly go over Frank and Kenrich.
Yeah, I got Frank.
I mean, I think it's easy. I think they're restricted. They're both restricted free agents. They'll be back next season.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of teams offering Frank a lot of money. He unfortunately doesn't seem to have like a 100% role right now. It seems like he makes most sense at a shooting guard level, but his role isn't really that defined. He's still learning a lot of Drew. I don't see a lot of teams coming for him, so I think he'll be back. And then Kenrich, he'll be back, but they'll both be on really cheap contracts.
Yeah, and also going off of Frank Jackson, like you yourself, you've even become even more of a big fan of his throughout the bubble.
Yep.
And throughout the scrimmage games of the bubble too, right? So yeah, I mean, I'd be more than happy to have Frank Jackson back and Kenrich Williams too, because we always got love for Kenny Hustle, although he may not be getting the minutes that
definitely
he would want. He's still gonna have a spot on the roster. Going off of that too, we're not. I don't feel as if either of us have too much information on him, but Didi Luzada, or however the fuck you say that, right? What do you reckon? Do you reckon we're gonna bring him in for the next season?
I'll be honest, I haven't watched him play much in the NBL, so I don't know how ready he looks or is. The weird thing is that we do have a lot of. If we have Kenrich, then we also got.
We already have so many guys.
Zylan Cheatham. We've got. I don't know if Thornwell stays on or whether he was just signed on for the bubble.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he'll probably come. I reckon we'll bring him in next season.
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't know how ready he is.
Yeah.
But he'll take up a bit of money, so there might be one or two players that we do end up maybe not re-signing or not keeping. And then the other question is, I think Darius Miller comes back.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about Daniel.
Yeah, there's got to be some decision. I don't know.
Yeah, true.
There will be some changes in the end. Like we're not going to keep everyone. So we're excited to see what happens. But I trust David Griffin will make the right decisions.
That's actually so crazy with Darius Miller. Like last time we seen him play probably was a totally different team. Like he just had AD in the team. It's kind of like he just woke up from a coma. It's like, yo, what's going on? Who the fuck is this Zion guy? JJ Redick, BI, Lonzo, all these. He's working out. It's a completely different story now.
Yeah, we don't know if he's going to come back.
Yeah, no, it is
as
true.
Good as he was before as well. So
yeah, and it's not necessarily like he was amazing before either.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that pretty much wraps up the majority of the off-season kind of quote-unquote decisions you have to keep in mind, I guess. Apart from that, I guess very quickly before just wrap this episode up. So obviously we didn't make the playoffs, or we didn't make the play-in tournaments, and we're recording this just before Portland and Memphis actually go at it to secure the AFC, right? So I think tomorrow, at least for us, Australian time, Sydney time, Portland versus Phoenix. Portland is the AFC right now. Memphis. And Memphis. That's what my heart wanted.
Yeah,
my heart wanted.
I'm the same. I'd like to see the Suns in.
Especially after that 8-0 run, far out. And then see, we're talking about like. Yeah, it was still a good season. Let's go on for the next one, bro. Imagine the Phoenix Suns, the Suns Bros or something like that. We're like, yeah, guys, we got so much. We're so hyped for next season. Anyways, though, what's it called? We've got So Portland is 8th seed. Memphis is in 9th seed now, right? So with that, Portland needs to win just the one game, and then Memphis needs to win 2 games to actually get into the first round of the playoffs versus the Lakers. So what do you reckon? I'm pretty sure we're both on the same page here.
It'll be Portland.
Portland
easy win.
You guys got easy money to take that W, and so that's going to happen tomorrow. Do you know what time it is going to be tomorrow?
No idea.
I'm going to try to catch it. I'm hoping that it's not like 3 a.m. game, something like that. But
won't even bother if it's AM game.
Yeah. But if it's like
10, 8:30.
Even if it starts at 6, I'll tune in for like. If it starts at 6 or something, I'll tune in for the last quarter or something like that, maybe. Wait. But I definitely got Portland can come get into the AFC. And like I said at the beginning of the episode too, that we got, although we shit on Dame and shit like that, I got nothing but love, respect for those guys, and the hustle that they're bringing in right now. But the situation is that, do you think that they're gonna be able to upset the Lakers?
No, I don't think they'll be able to upset the Lakers by taking the series, but I think they'll take 2 games.
Yeah.
I'll say 1 or 2 games, right? The Lakers haven't looked great, but I've personally don't think that the Lakers have anything to worry about. I don't think they're playing seriously. I don't think they're going all out. I do believe playoff LeBron is a thing.
Yeah.
So I don't think they have any real issues, but Portland. Damian Lillard will go off.
Yeah.
This whole playoffs, he's clutch. He takes over. He'll give them hell.
And they've had to like claw their way into this
Yeah.
too, so they're playing with like determination.
Look, in the end, out of all the teams that could have gone into the 8th seed / become the 8th seed, I think Portland will give them the most issues.
With the most trouble. Yeah.
Lakers take
That's
it 4-2. That's my
So
prediction.
you reckon a 6-game series? Yeah, true. A 6-game like I don't see Blazers necessarily obviously winning the series as much as I'd love it to happen. The main thing is that as long as they kind of make LeBron and AD shit it a bit, that's good enough for me. I even fatigue them a bit for the next rounds to come. That's great. And going off of the game tomorrow, Grizzlies versus Blazers, that is actually starting at 6:30 a.m. So I did kind of predict it. So I'd maybe catch the last quarter of it or something like that, 8 a.m. Yeah, I'm not even going to pretend I'm going to watch it too. Yeah. So there's that. Apart from that, the last kind of thing I want to touch on too is out of all the kind of I guess playoff series, which one are you most hyped for?
Oh, that's a good question.
So just going like I'm not really going to talk about the Eastern Conference if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Specifically the Western Conference, obviously it's going to be Lakers versus, we predict, Portland, Dallas versus Clippers, Denver versus Utah, and then Houston versus OKC.
They're all really great matchups.
Yeah.
If I had to pick one that I'm hyped up for, definitely Houston versus OKC.
Yeah, me too, son.
Because there's obviously, Westbrook getting traded last season for Chris Paul. They've literally just swapped teams, and most people weren't expecting OKC to be this good.
Yeah,
maybe
this
borderline playoff team.
Yeah,
but they got the same record as the Rockets. So
yeah, that's so crazy.
Definitely hyped up for that game. I think I do predict that Houston will win. But
what 7-game series? How far do you reckon they're gonna take it?
I reckon 5 to 6 games.
I'm still going for OKC. I reckon OKC gonna take it. I really hope Steven Adams has time to shine too, because take advantage of that small ball lineup potentially. Who knows?
Yeah, but I mean, I gotta give credit to the other matchups, man. Denver and Utah, they've always been teams that just give it to each other. That's a great matchup as well. And
Denver specifically now is really warming up.
Yeah,
too.
And then Clippers and Dallas, man. Luka and Porzingis aren't anything to joke with.
However,
then you got Kawhi and PG.
It's a different level there.
PG has looked pretty good this bubble, so
yeah,
that's my thoughts on it.
So yeah, I guess the main kind of thing we're both hyped for is the Houston OKC one. However, it's interesting that me and you have differing opinions on that. Yeah,
we'll see who's right in the end. I mean, we've both been wrong throughout all these predictions.
Yeah,
but because we're now going opposite, one of us has to be right.
Yeah, so that's the thing. We had a different opinion when it comes to this, like on Houston versus OKC, and we had a different opinion when it comes to if JJ's going to stick around another year, right? Yeah, here we are, collaborating still, being all friendly with each other. We're not, I don't see each other trying to hurt the other person with violence, or I don't know, go on Facebook and be like, oh my god, this guy's a racist. Or,
I didn't like diss your mum.
Yeah, like we can be civilized people. So for the Americans tuning in, I hope you can take some kind of something from that. Like if someone has a different opinion, it's not the end of the fucking world, right? It's just their fucking opinion. Get over yourself, really. That's how I see it, and that's how it is with the Pelbros, right? We keep it real. So I think more or less sums it up for today's episode.
Let's wrap it up.
As per usual, thank you again for tuning in for another sexy episode 16 of the Pelbros.
I think this was a more chill vibe. And
it's
a lot
quite
more
chill.
Discussion happened.
Yeah.
I think our energy probably wasn't as high as what it usually is,
but
I blame the Aljanas.
We have pretty much food coma and we're sick beers here. But also at the same time too, we're what do we have to fight for, bro? Like we've already lost, we've already got out of the playoffs, and if anything, we need to have this more chill kind of way to like think about our off-season moves
and brainstorm.
Just
gonna say there's some big things coming up for the Pelbros in off-season. Before I leak out too much information, just stay tuned. Follow us on all channels and
exactly what I was gonna say. Follow us, Pelbros. Obviously, Pelbros. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts,
Amazon
every freaking thing.
coming soon.
Oh, Amazon coming soon.
Yeah,
there
soon.
You go. There's that, and then obviously YouTube. Just type in Pelbros. We've got exclusive content on there too. Like he said, we've just dropped the Lonzo Ball highlights for the specific Pelican season this year. Probably the best one out there on YouTube. There's that. And we have top 5 Derek Favors games. We even have some Drew Holiday clutch plays of this season and shit too,
and
right?
we've got some more content coming out. I think we're planning a Drew top 5 game soon.
Yeah.
So look out for it, definitely.
Yeah, there's that. We even have we put up a while ago top draft picks of all time of the New Orleans franchise. So who else out there dishing this content? No one, son. And we have this very long delayed jersey video, but that's something that's a quote unquote leaked kind of thing.
I don't know if that's ever going to drop.
Yeah.
No, I spent so much time working on that as well.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's like something that's we don't want to leak too much information. Keep it classified, keep it confidential. But yeah, cheers to everyone that's listened in and shit. Thank you again as always. Hit us up.
Just really quickly as well, I just want to say thanks for the support this season, right?
Oh yeah, true.
We're pretty much wrapping up the season.
Yeah, true.
We'll still be delivering some content. We'll still do some episodes, but thanks for everyone that's listened, tuned in. Thanks for the guys that have reached out and even mentioned that they've been listening. So that's been awesome.
There's that, and obviously, what's it called? We'll get them next season. We'll come back even stronger next season. So you guys stick around with us. We stick around with your asses, and let's keep it going. Really. So peace. I guess, right?
We are. Peace.
Laters.